Alright, hello. This video is going to be a yin class, so it's going to be super relaxing, focusing on the runner's lower body. Alright, so blocks, strap, and start laying on your back. Alright, so set up your space so that you have lots of room around you. Maybe dim the lights a little bit and create this super cozy, relaxing atmosphere that you can really start to just down regulate your nervous system, the tension in your body, the busyness in your mind. Yin is a great practice to accomplish all of that. So as usual, get as comfortable as you can on your mat. Whether that means your knees stay bent or your legs straighten out. You can close your eyes or steady your gaze up at your ceiling. And I usually like to place one hand on my belly, one hand just in the lower part of the ribs or chest area. And start to tune into your breath. And what does it feel like in these first little bits of your practice? Is it really shallow? Is it getting stuck in the upper portions of the chest, the collarbone area, even the throat? And see if you can start to find that ease to your face, your jaw. Allow your lips to stay gently sealed together as you start to pull your inhale in through your nose so that you're really accessing the range of motion of your diaphragm. This muscle that does the largest portion of our breathing. And can you inhale so that you feel your belly rise, your low ribs broaden. You're feeling yourself all the way up to the top, to the collarbone, base of the throat area. And then can you start to find the bottom of your exhale? Where can you land on empty? Do you feel your low belly almost contracting at the end of your breath out, drawing in and up as the low ribs relax down? And I'm going to offer a count here to start, so you can count along with your breath. It should never feel forced. It should never bring on feelings of anxiousness. So your count might be different than mine, but it's something to start along with. It might be shorter, maybe it's a little longer. So just take a normal inhale in through your nose. And a normal exhale, you can let it go out the mouth if you like. And then we'll begin. Inhale for a count of 3, 2, 1 to the top of your breath. Exhale for a count of 3, 2, 1, finding empty. Inhale for 3, feel your belly rise, your low ribs, all the way up to the top of the collarbone. Exhale for 3, belly falls, low ribs fall, shoulders relax. Inhale for 3, exhale for 3. One more together. Inhale for a count of 3. Maybe it's a little bit longer. Exhale for a count of 3 or 4 or 5. Find empty. And then continue to let that breath move through you. Let it fill your side body, your back body. And let it be your guide for your practice. And so you can grab your strap here to start, wherever that might be. And then you're going to loop your strap around the ball of your right foot. Extend your right heel up towards the ceiling. So in yin, we're looking for about 30-40% of where we could maximally stretch to. So the goal is that we're holding for longer periods of time, and usually gravity is helping us. So less is more in this practice. So find an easy place where you feel a little bit of tension, but it's not too much. You're not shaking, you're not starting to sweat or breathe heavier. So if that's the case, just back out a bit without judgment. Your target is going to be more into the lateral part of the leg, the IT band, so you can take the strap into your left hand. You can just start to let your leg guide towards your left. So as you do this, keep in mind that 30-40%. Where do you need to stop? It might not be that far. So the sensation is going to start to travel a little bit more down that right side of your right leg, maybe even down into the hip. Nothing fancy at all, just searching and following sensation. Find a comfortable place to hold. Yin, we can hold anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes even longer. What we're really affecting is our fascial tissue. So the tissue that wraps every single cell, fiber, muscle in your body. And our fascia is the most sensitive system in our body, so very much controlled by our nervous system. When you can stay relaxed, when your breath can stay easy, you stay in this state of rest and digest, you tend to get more benefits. You feel like your muscles are releasing. Well, that's your nervous system saying we're in a safe place and it's okay to go a little bit further. So you're just following that, staying within the ranges, 30-40%. Going further if the body allows, or backing out if things tense up. Let's take about 3 or 4 more breaths here. Okay, next inhale, slowly bring your right leg back up to center. And then you're just going to release the strap. You're done with it for a little bit. Go ahead and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Now there's 2 options here. You can either take thread the needle, where you're going to hug your left leg in, grabbing onto your left hamstring or shin. So you can take that option if that feels right. Second option, taking your arms out into more of a T shape, scooching your hips over towards your right as you let your knee and foot tip over towards your left. Now, if it's quite intense for the right foot to land onto the floor, you're going to bring the floor to you by placing a block underneath your right foot on any height you need to. So depending on the day, depending on what kind of workout or run maybe you had this morning, every day is going to be different. So as long as you're staying within those parameters, you're going to be getting the benefits. And close your eyes if you need to. Once you found the right sensation, just settle in, commit to one breath at a time. Perhaps scanning for tension. Where can you let go of tension you don't need in the face, the jaw, the shoulders? And you let the outer right hip and glute relax a little bit. Visualize that area softening. And feel the movement of your breath. Just about 3 or 4 more rounds here. Not too long. Next inhale, bring your legs back through center. Realign your spine if it's shifted. And you're just going to bring your right shin so that it's parallel to the ceiling. Little counter pose, swivel your right shin over towards the right. And then swivel your shin over towards the left. So just take a few internal, external rotations where the knee is staying stacked over top of your right hip. And just a couple more. All right, place your right foot down, straighten your legs out. One last pose targeting the right side. You're going to take Bananarasana, so it's kind of self-explanatory. Walk your legs over towards your left, any amount. Your hips stayed glued exactly where they are. You're going to shimmy your chest, your head, your shoulders over towards your left. Okay, again, just enough so that that right hip can stay rooted. From here, you're going to take your arms overhead. You might grab opposite elbows, or you might cactus your arms a little bit wider. Hey, but if the arms are reaching overhead, it might be helpful to use some props underneath of your elbows so that you feel supported in the arms. Especially if you do have what might feel like tightness in the shoulders when the arms go overhead. And just give yourself a little bit of support. So I like blocks underneath the areas of the elbows. You want to feel supported even through the upper body. And then just notice if you still maybe feel like you need a little bit more, you can try crossing your right ankle over your left, or vice versa. Try crossing your left ankle over your right. So the sensation should be somewhere along your right side. And let your head fall where it wants to. You should feel quite supported in this one, where you can just really let gravity do the work. Like each bone on your back body be heavy without forcing. Come back to that breath you started your class with. Counting the length of your inhale. Matching that with your exhale. And if at any time you feel pinchiness through the back, low back, just back out a little bit. More numbness and tingling through the hands. Well, then take your arms a little bit wider or let them come back along your sides. And let this be a little check-in with sensation. We're going to stay about another minute. Nice and slowly come out of this and cross your legs if you had them crossed. Walk everything back to center. Allow your arms to come back along your sides. And just pause in stillness. See how it feels to take a full breath in. And do you have more space through the right side versus your left? And then when you feel ready, you're going to grab your strap again. This time loop it around the ball of your left foot and we'll balance you out with the left side. So extend your left heel up towards the ceiling. Not comparing side to sides, just really noticing. And over time we have the ability to change the length of our soft tissue, but we don't have the ability to change what we are structurally given. So just know that some things will change, some things you can't force to change. And when you're ready, start to draw your leg over towards your right. Find that appropriate sensation for this side. And then send your breath to the area you're probably feeling it the most. And you stay relaxed through your upper body. And yoga, in association with running, is we're not always looking to be the most flexible or have the deepest stretches. There's a balance. You want tension in your tissues. You want them to be spring-like and explosive. Shifting your mindset a little bit can be helpful in your practice. Always a balance between strength and length. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Next, inhale. Draw your left leg back up through center. And ditch your strap. So you're done with your strap. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Again, option 1, taking thread the needle, bringing the right leg in towards you. Or option 2, supine pigeon, shift your hips towards your left. Arms can come a little wider into a T. Let your knee and foot tip over towards your right. Now know again, you have props. You can prop the left foot up if this is too intense right off the bat. I like to use my right hand to just grab the outer edge of my left ankle for a little extra support. And get as comfortable as you can here. And go through your body, scanning where you can let go. And then focus back into the movement of your breath. Feel the full range of motion of your diaphragm as you inhale, the expansive feeling that that downward pressure creates. And with your exhale, the emptying, the lifting as the diaphragm relaxes, pressing out carbon dioxide from your lungs. Final 3 breath on this side. And when you feel ready, come on out, draw your legs back through center, realign your pelvis. And then you can just bring your left shin parallel to the ceiling. Again, you're going to keep your knee stacked over your hip as you swivel the shin towards the left, the shin towards the right. And just gently exploring these 2 ranges of motion, internal and external rotation. And so this is an example of possibly a structural issue. So the way the femur, the head of the femur sits in your acetabulum, your hip socket. Depending how that is, sometimes we can't change the amount of internal, external rotation we have. Okay, go ahead and place your left foot down, straighten your legs out. Bananarasana, start to walk your legs over towards your right. Shimmy your head, your shoulders over towards your right. Did your left hip lift? Maybe back out a little bit so you still want to stay facing the ceiling. Arms can come overhead. You can re-grab your blocks. Or maybe you don't have blocks today. You're using pillows or something to bring the floor up to you. Last option, crossing the ankle, either your left or your right. So to send your breath into the left side, getting a stretch through your intercostal muscles, the muscles in between your ribs. And opening through the lats, the obliques, all the way down that lateral line, which sits the glute med, the IT band, all the stabilizing muscles we use when we run. Muscles we want strong and stable. You just let gravity, let time do the work for you here. That maybe in a minute or so you feel the left side of the hip just as heavy as the right, without forcing it down to the floor. Just simply by relaxing, being in the right effort zone. About 30 more seconds on this side. And when you feel ready to come out, walk your legs back through center. Realign your body, arms come down. Few breath here, just to land in stillness, observing. And you're going to hug your knees in towards your chest, giving yourself a little hug or squeeze. Take your time, roll yourself up into a seated position. All right, so we're going to come into a seated wide leg forward fold stretch. Okay, so we're targeting the adductors, the inner thighs here. All right, so take your legs wide, option one. If you find that's really hard, you're rounding, you feel like you're going to fall back, take a pillow or one of your blocks and then just let yourself sit up onto it. Okay? So giving yourself that little height or lift is going to help to anteriorly tilt the pelvis forward. Okay? It might feel like your knees are hyperextending if you're sitting up on something, so just make sure you have some support. I'm a bad example here, so one block or maybe a couple pillows. So there's just a little micro bend into the knees. And then wherever you are, you're just going to start to hinge forward. And just until you start to feel some tension, some pull through the inner thighs. And the legs can be any width they need to, but try to find a width that's pretty effortless. I like to stack blocks in front of my forehead. So you're probably already figuring out like you might need to bring more props next time you do one of these classes. Something just to rest the forehead on. If you don't have anything, no worries. You can just close your eyes again. Let your head, your neck relax. You might notice one side a little more tension than the other side. Try to let your ankles, your feet relax. This is one of my favorite stretches, probably. Notice your breath. Not only just noticing it when it gets short, when you forget about it, does tension start to creep up elsewhere? Only here about 5 more rounds. The beauty of a home practice is you can always pause and stay a little bit longer if you need. When you're done that final last breath, walk your torso up. You sit up tall. Swing your legs forward to the top of your mat. And you're just going to cross your ankles and come onto your hands and your knees. So from your hands and your knees, we're going to set up for hero's pose. So one last posture targeting more the front line. So you're going to take a block either on the lower setting or the middle setting and sit your butt on it. So you choose. Some might maybe need 2 blocks, and this is as far as you go. All right, so limiting factors is going to be the front of the ankles, especially if you have bony or quite bony on the tops of your feet. You can always roll some towels up to give you a little extra support under the tops and fronts of the ankles. If you're still fine here, then you're going to lean back, lift your butt up, give your tailbone a little tuck under. So you're just encouraging a nice posterior tilt of the pelvis. Some of you might decide you don't feel much at all. Maybe you don't even use your block. But keep in mind, less is more. The sensation is just sensation. Just because you're not feeling much doesn't mean you're getting the benefits. And so we're going to stick with this one. So you're looking for a targeted stretch through the front of the quads, maybe up through the hip flexors, possibly through the front of the shins and ankles. And if you are quite propped up on your blocks, maybe over time you're able to take a little bit of support out, or maybe over a couple months. Make sure that the flexion in your knees, especially if you have meniscus stuff, any old knee injuries, that flexion's a little bit rough. You give yourself lots of support. So never force past something that's structurally not going to change or doesn't need to change. If this is too much, you can always just stand by the wall and do a quad stretch. You can lay on your belly and just bend one heel in towards your butt at a time. Let's take about 3 more breaths. And when you've done your last breath, come on forward. Take any props you're supported on out. And just give your legs a little pedal. Extend one heel back at a time. It might feel nice to take a downward facing dog. So if you feel like you're up for that, take any last movement that your body craves. And then you can just tip over onto your back. Set yourself up for Shavasana. So Shavasana is going to be taking your blocks or props and placing them behind your calves. And get a little elevation of the legs. If you have a wall nearby, you can always swing your legs up the wall. That's a great way to recover the legs, even just after a hard run anytime. And take up lots of space here. A little tuck of your shoulders underneath you. And take a full breath into all that space you've created. Give yourself permission to be completely still, completely relaxed with your breath out. Start to let your breath become effortless. Notice where your thoughts are. Can you come back to the space you're in? Sounds around you, the feeling of your body on the mat. Allow yourself to stay present. I highly encourage you to stay as long as you can. Take the rest. And thank yourself for taking the time to chill.